Hello, welcome to another episode of MR Pac-Man. This week I have new development as usual. The map is built in tiles. The animation is created for Pac-Man and the Ghost, and also field tested the map size. So let's jump into it. So here is a video of the field test. You have to put the can controller down in order for it to recognize your hand, and the map is the Pac-Man maze, and as you can see, I am moving the entire map, and there's really no restriction on how far I move it, so that part is pretty cool. This is a 0.04 scale. As you can see, I'm just running around the court, and it's half of a tennis court. Not sure if that's the right amount of running yet. I will test it out more, but in the middle there's a chart where you can see the frame rate. Wherever it's red, that means it might be a little bit laggish, but from my perspective, it was okay for the most part. Wherever it drops frame rate is when I looked at something that's really bright. Not when I'm moving a lot, I think. Not sure. I'll have to test that more. Anyways, so that's me running around. And also, let me move it up. Around here is, you can see I am moving the stage up and down, maybe down here. You can see I'm grabbing the square to make it scale up to 0.1. Don't worry about what the scale factor means. I don't know either. It starts at 0.4. The max that I've tested is 0.1. And at 0.1, it's maybe too big. I tried to walk around and it was pretty wide. So 0.1 too big. And then I went back and scaled it down a little bit more. Just have the edge of the maze right at the net, and that's about 0.6. And I feel 0.6 is probably the right amount. I will test it in a basketball court again to just make sure whatever number I settle with, there's plenty of places that is playable. And I think basketball court is one of those very common places, hopefully. Should it be half court or full court? I don't know. I have to do some running and see how tired I get after 5 rounds. But I don't feel there's any sizing limitation, as you can see. Like 0.1 goes across 2 tennis courts. All right, that's the demo for the field test. Now the animation, I built this in Blender, pixel by pixel, try to match exactly, and then imported that into Unity, and there's Pac-Man walking, and here's the death animation. And for the ghosts, there's looking up, looking down. Let's pick another one. Looking left, and then looking right. I don't know if Boolean is the right one to use. I don't know. I just picked it. It's scared. That one's fun. So there you go. All the animations created. Let me turn back. Pac-Man alive, walking. I have to watch some Code Monkey tutorial on how to set these in code, but it's working. So let me take out my OneNote, go back to here. So what's being checked off this week? So that one's done. Built the map. This one I did. I'll get into more details next week because I haven't touched any coding yet. The prefab is done. The collision is not done. Various animation, die moving, not sound effect yet, but don't really need it yet. What else? Game management. That's it. Not much checked off the list, but I think the overall process, what took the longest was creating these models and animations. I am not a 3D modeler, and for me to go into Blender and creating these things took a long time, and I had no idea what's the right approach. There are many tutorials that made it look easy, but when I get to it, just deciding where I should have animation. Should I make it in Blender and then import it to Unity, or just make the model, animate it in Unity? Just that decision took me several hours to figure out, and I don't even know if I made the right one. I just made one that works, that I can understand. And sometimes it's like that. Like being a solo developer, you have to go into field that you're not an expert in and just do the best you can in the shortest amount of time. I mean, let me switching back to this view. I mean, look at the pixel. The way I made it thicker is just increasing the scale of that axis. And yeah, it doesn't look good from here. I should have a duplicate of this, have one very thin on top, and then just all red or all of the same color in the back. That's gonna increase, that's just gonna double the poly count on the ghost, but does that really matter? Does that affect performance? I have no idea. I don't even know why the Quest Pro has low frame rate when I was walking around. So that's another thing I have to investigate in. But I definitely feel if I move a lot on the Quest Pro, frame rate drops. And if I look down and stay there a little bit, frame rate goes back up. Probably because of the pass-through. It's working really hard to get the pass-through video and overlay or underlay it with the VR content. So that's my guess. I don't know. Never run a diagnostic or profile. If I do feel performance causing the game to be unplayable, then I will look into it. But right now, the plan for next week is to program the movement of the ghost, put it on the map, have colliders, and actually see it walking on the map. That would be a great milestone to actually see it in the map. So that's all for this week. Thanks for watching. See ya.